What up? Karlis here. We're back. Oh yeah, we're back with stress management. Next question. How to deal with anxiety. Oh yes, anxiety. Let's tackle that in this video. Anxiety. Do you already are getting small anxiety just thinking about the word anxiety? Are you getting small anxiety just imagining the situations that bring you anxiety, the times in the past when you felt anxious, possible future scenarios when you think, you believe, you feel anxious? Are you getting that? And anxiety, what an interesting topic. There's a time when I was anxious a lot of years. But the crazy thing was that I didn't know I was anxious. I was confused, miserable, sad. Yeah, what else? A lot of other things, but definitely confused, sad, miserable, feeling very down, feeling stressed, very stressed. And it took me a long time to realize, to also understand my own anxiety. Where did it come from? How did it all work? And essentially how I was able to turn it all around. Where now I look at anxiety and I laugh about it. Because I feel so light. It no longer has any power over me. It no longer has any impact over my life. And my job is to help you also feel like anxiety has no power over you, like it has no impact. And we're going to make this happen. So, bit of recap when it comes to stress management, what we've already talked about. So we already talked about that stress is essentially available physical energy that is meant to be used in some activity. And therefore, when the stress is not used, and it's a long-term chronic stress, easiest way how to get sick very quickly, because it just, again, stops our whole rejuvenating processes in our body. Because when we're in this time of stress, there's the highest need is the need for some survival and safety. That's the highest need when we are in state of stress. All right. And then we also talked about how to deal with stressors. And it all essentially starts with us recognizing and realizing that our health is the most important thing to our lives, because that health allows us to do everything else in our life, whether that be in business, in relationship, just in growth, just in everyday activities. Our health, our well-being, our life energy, that is what matters the most. And so it is our job to not only to recognize, but to fully embody that. And anxiety is, of course, as we know, is one of the big things that stand in the way of us feeling free, of us feeling at peace, of us feeling at rest, of us feeling confident, self-assured, and knowing that we got this. Whatever challenge life throws away, boom, we got this. No problem at all. All right, let's talk about anxiety more. So what is anxiety? As I was already talking in one of the previous videos about stress and perceived threats, anxiety is essentially a response to a certain threat in the future. We imagine that we're going to be experiencing some future threat. We're going to be experiencing some situation, some event where there is threat. And again, this threat can either be real threat or perceived threat. Both have the same power essentially in our mind. There's no difference whether it's a real threat for our survival or whether or not it's a perceived threat that can essentially lead to more threats and bigger scenarios. And oh my God, I'm gonna die based on whether I might die or not die based on the outcome of the situation. But I understand how the anxiety works, and sometimes truly we feel that way. We truly feel so anxious and just paralyzed and just completely shocked and tied up. And this is something that just overpowers us. I know how it feels, and I know that it's just like leaves you weak, completely powerless. It leaves you in a situation when you're like, you basically are at the mercy of the situation, at mercy at the feeling of anxiety. What's going to happen? And especially when it's in long term, oh boy, it really makes you just desperately try to find a way to get out of it, to get out of this feeling, to forget about it. For example, when it comes to addiction, a lot of times people develop addiction as a way to deal with their anxiety, as a way to deal with these feelings. And so it's not if a person, let's say, is drinking alcohol regularly, let's say every day, as a way to deal with the stress and anxiety, it's not the correct approach to tell to say the person, not only to shame the person for doing it, to say, wait, you're addict, you're an addict, you can't control your life, you're blah blah, I don't know. What are you weak? What the alcohol is stronger than you? Or just stop drinking. Boom, problem solved. Stop drinking. It's one of these kinds of suggestions and these kinds of ways of looking at this problem is one of the most efficient and inefficient ways how to deal with it. And frankly, a lot of cases, these kinds of suggestions, these friendly suggestions, make a situation even worse. I was there when I was feeling stressed and I was engaging in video game playing a lot, and then my family members didn't enjoy that, and I would have heated arguments when it comes to that. And after the heated arguments, all I wanted to do was say, leave me alone, shut up, and I'm gonna play more. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I want to do. Yeah, and that's what I'm gonna do. And actually, that's what I did. I wasn't listening, and yeah, now I realize that this kind of approach, if we're dealing with addiction, trying to tackle the aspect of the addiction just straight up surface level, it's completely wrong. We have to go deeper, and here we are. That's why we're here in this video, talking about anxiety and the deeper things from our subconscious. So, anxiety is a response to a threat in the future. And again, here's the thing with the anxiety. In order for the anxiety, in order for these triggers to really spark up these feelings of anxiety and these emotions, and to really start the whole ball of anxiety rolling, there has to be already an existing trigger within us, or essentially there has to be existing either trigger or existing programming or conditioning that supports this. We already have to have inner pains, we already have to have inner struggles, we already have to have inner fears, we already have to have inner stress in order for the anxiety to spark up and take control of our lives. And here's the thing, dealing with anxiety, it's every single one of us have the capability to deal with it, and every single one of us have the capability to fully let go of anxiety and any sort of power the anxiety holds over us. But here's the thing, is that this getting there, it's not always a pleasant process. That's the thing. It's not always a pleasant process, and I'll explain. So what happens is that I was there too when I was feeling very anxious, but I was essentially unable to talk with people about these things. There have been times when I talked about, with my close with people that I was, close with, and a lot of times I felt that I was not understood. I felt that they were just giving me some tips how to live my life. At the same time, those tips were not at all applicable to my situation, and were not also helpful. And I just felt plain misunderstood. When I was trying to seek help, I just felt misunderstood, and in the end, I started shying away from even just asking for help from people and just talking about these things. Not only I felt misunderstood, not only at times I felt even more sad, because I felt that they just tried to, fix me or whatever. Just the people looked at me like something was wrong with me, like I don't know, I had fault. There was something just playing wrong with me, and then they tried to fix me, and just with their own tips of, hey, how to live a good life, just smile more, just be happy, think positive thoughts, and the sun will always shine on us. Good intention, but real life, practical, let's say practical efficiency, no, not really. Here's the thing when it comes to anxiety, and what really are the ways in us for to deal with. It all starts with desire. It all starts with an internal desire to be free, to become free of this anxiety, to become free of these limitations, to become free of these chains or prison. Call it whatever you want, same thing. It's something that just overpowers us, it drains us, it creates such an internal conflict, it creates such an internal tension. And it just drains us. It drains us, it drains us, and it leaves us feeling completely drained out and powerless. These feelings. So it all starts with this. It all starts with this desire. We gotta have this really deep desire in our heart to want for things to change. We want to be free again. We want to be happy. We want to be powerful. We want to live a life of fulfillment, to live life of joy. Because this desire is very important. Why? This desire is what helps us to move forward through the difficult parts. Because as I was already saying, when it comes to anxiety, in order for the anxiety to really have an effect on our life and really be prevalent in our lives, there already has to be an internal trigger within us that support us. So usually it has to do with some limiting beliefs, like, for example, I'm not good enough, or I'm a shy person. These labels and these conditioning, very big causes too. See, that's the thing. There's so many labels when it comes to personality and characteristics. Oh, I'm a shy person, I'm an introvert, I'm an extrovert, I'm a this kind of person, I'm a that kind of person, These are so labels. And these labels, essentially we become those labels. And we associate with those labels as if that's what we truly are. See, a long time in my life, I believed I was a shy person. I was like, I'm an introvert, I am that shy guy. I am that, what else I was? Yeah, that quiet guy, that nice guy, that polite guy. I'm that good guy, that calm guy, that calm person. I'm that shy person. And see, that's the thing, is that when we're told that, oh, you're a good boy, you're a good person, you're that good person, right? Good boys don't do things that way, or good boys do these things, or good girls. These labels, boom, they take such a strong effect and such a strong hold on ourselves, and then we associate with these labels. Now, when I look at all these different labels and characteristics and personality types, I think that a lot of it is a lot of crap, to be blunt and straightforward. Because now, just from my own experience and my own example, now I don't find myself as being shy, and in fact, when I was thinking that I'm shy, I'm introverted, I'm that nice guy, I'm that polite guy, you know what it came from? It came from the belief that I'm not good enough. It came from the need to be appreciated by other people. It came from the need to be approved by other people. It came from the need to be validated by other people. It came from the desire to be loved, to be accepted for who I am. Because I was not accepting myself. That's the thing. I was not loving myself, because I felt that I was not worthy of love. I felt that I had nothing to be proud of in my life. I felt I wasn't good enough. I had these such down pushing ways of thinking, is that it led to me being that shy person and just accepting this label, this value, these kind of labels. Yeah, I'm this kind of person, and that in turn also created a bigger anxiety in my life, because these internal beliefs, which are self-deprecating, they create so much internal conflict, and they create so much internal tension, they create so much internal stress, and we act out in ways because we're trying to compensate for our limiting beliefs, and it not only makes us very uncomfortable, because we are not living the lives authentically. We're not living our lives how we are, but we are kind of thinking, we're kind of creating this kind of persona, how we should react, and then we attach to these labels, attach to this persona, and then we kind of live this other life, kind of our life, but at the same time not really our life. And it creates more anxiety, because we have this, again, we are trying to compensate for something within us. We're trying to compensate for our fears, for things that we miss inside, whether that be more care, more appreciation, more kindness towards ourselves, more compassion, acceptance for who we are, forgiveness, another very big thing. I would have guilt, and I would have shame, and I would just not forgive, and I could not accept, and then, oh man, just thinking about that spiral is just it's such a mess. It's such a mess. The thing is that 99%, I don't really want to say 100%. No, to be honest, I'm going to say 100% in this case. 100% at all, that self-deprecating crap is not true. It's not true. It's not true. But we are attached to these labels. So to deal with anxiety, again, it starts with this internal desire, and then the next part is that we essentially have to go within. Again, I'm returning to the point of the answers are within us, and that we have to go within, and that we have to essentially quiet the environment, quiet the external distractions, so we can better give ourselves the focus, the attention that we need. And what's going to happen is we essentially we have to be in a safe space. Best, so for me it was home, where I could be at home, where I could be in a safe space, because when we're already in this situation that already creates anxiety, that's it. We're essentially powerless. We're already in that roller coaster. We're already in that train track. That's it. We're not really going to be able to change much, because we're in a situation already of stress. And in that case, we just have to survive until it finishes. Then we have to use the stress so we can again start from a state of peace and relaxation. That's where you have to start. So, from a state of peace and relaxation, from a desire that we want to be free from this anxiety, we want to live lives authentically, and we want to just live how we are, just be happy who we are. Existing happiness and joy comes when we get the chance to be authentic. It's a state of internal being. Happiness doesn't come from some outside, external, even material possessions. Happiness comes from the internal state. Okay, we're in a state of peace. We have to essentially, and here is the difficult part, is we essentially have to bring that anxiety up within us. What we have to do is when we're sitting in a state of peace, we close our eyes. Music can help, for example, music that is soothing, music that is calming. And we have to remember this situation. We have to start bringing up all these feelings of anxiety. And the tightness will come. Yes, the tightness will come, stress will come. And we will potentially feel like we're again on the same situation that dreadfully fears us. I know that it brings us fear. I know, I've been there. I've really been there. But it's worth it. It's really the work that we do for ourselves is worth it 100%. Fully certain of that. Okay, and by being present ourselves, and by remembering these situations, these anxiety situations, by letting these emotions start to come up, the goal here really is to be present to it, breathe, just breathe, and just be present with it. They're gonna come up with tightness, they can come up with some fears, there's sadness, sometimes there can be crying, or just feelings of desperation, great storm conjuring up. It's all normal. All these things are already within us. What we have to do is we have to give space for these things to come out, and then once we allow these things to come out, there's going to be a storm for a while, yeah, but we have to be present in that storm, and we have to remember we're not in that situation. So this thing to remember, we're not in that situation right now. We're remembering, and we're just giving these feelings, these emotions, a space for them to come up, and for them to be essentially used. It's not the right word, for them to have their space. Because what happens when they have their space, and when we sit with the storm, we're gonna start to feel. It's gonna take some time. But we're gonna start to feel that we're getting just a bit more relaxed. We're gonna slowly again. Relaxation is gonna slowly come back to us. It will come back to us just a bit, even just a bit. And then once we feel. The storm can be still present, but once you start to feel when the relaxation slowly comes back, is then we have to do the internal work in the terms of there are various techniques. One of the most easiest ways and straightforwardest ways is that I found is asking yourself various questions. when we lie to ourselves, and I've been there when I was lying to every person that I knew, and I was lying to myself every single day. It creates such a confusion. I didn't know what was true, what was not anymore true. But when I made a commitment that, okay, even though when things are very bad, even though when I'm just miserable and completely stressed, I'll just be honest with myself. I'll just stay true and honest with myself. This helps. And so then we can start these questions. Can I let this anxiety go? Okay, no. What stops me from letting this anxiety go? Asking within, you don't have to say those words out loud. You can really just ask it within us. You're going to get an answer. Okay, what is stopping me? Stay with this. Be present. Be present. Explore. And this initial internal desire to be free, it's the one that helps us move forward, that brings us new insights, that brings us new understanding. And essentially it helps us to reach a point where we realize that we are stronger than that. And we can tell ourselves, and we believe that, and that's the thing, we get to the point where we can tell those things. We are stronger than anxiety. Anxiety has no power over me. I am self-assured. I trust myself. I value myself. I am important. I am valuable. I am worth it. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be free. I deserve the love. These very powerful internal beliefs, they make the whole world. They make the whole difference, because they help us to realize that we are stronger than all these anxiety, all the stresses, all the challenges that life can ever bring us and send our way. We are stronger than that. And that is absolutely true, because we are stronger than that. We just believe that we're not strong enough. But deep down, we are. And that's the way how we deal with anxiety. So because I know that this topic, and this whole thing, it's let's say, it's not as easy for it all to be resolved. It's not as easy to resolve it all. It's not as easy to let go of it all. And it's not as easy to overcome it all. What I want to say is that if you would like to just have a chat with me, and would you like for me to give you more personalized advice and help and solutions to deal with your situation, in the description link there is a link to my scheduling page where you can just schedule a quick call, free call. Don't worry, I'm not trying to, my goal is not to just sell something with you and just like, hey, yeah, I gotta get those people on that scheduling. No, my really goal is to help you, to serve you, to be there for you, and to help you live a life of joy, of peace, of fulfillment, of growth. Be strong. I know you want that too. I know you want that kind of life for you. As you know, I'm here to help you make better educated decisions in your life. Thank you again for the question. Thank you. I really appreciate when I get the chance to share the value. Please, if you have any more questions, just, send them to me. Just send them. Just bring it. I'll deliver the value. For now, thank you for joining me. Thank you for the time spent today with me today. And I'll see you in the next video. Karlis out. Your boy.